Today on Investigate TV Plus Weekend, an airline passenger refuses search consent, but a federal agent searches him anyway.
He actually said, "I am the government."
Yeah, he says, "I am the government," and he was very assertive about it.
Plus, we all know the DMV takes our picture for our driver's license, but did you know your picture might also end up in a facial recognition database?
It's not like the DMV is doing anything illegal.
No, and I think that is the part that is interesting, right?
And a woman finds outrageous medical bills racked up by someone who stole her identity.
All her medical stuff is on file, not mine. If I was in a car accident on the way home, God forbid, and I was out of it and needed blood products, I could die.
Investigate TV Plus Weekend starts right now. Hello and welcome to Investigate TV Plus Weekend. I'm Lee Zurich. We have stunning video capturing the surprise search of an innocent airline passenger at a boarding gate. That passenger saw our previous reporting in plain sight and knew exactly what to say to the plainclothes federal agents who stopped him. Reporter Brendan Keefe shows us the new video.
Set your bag down and then you can walk on the plane. You can do that, but you can't take your bag.
You're not with the, what do you call it? I've seen these like videos on YouTube before. You're not with the...
I'm the DEA, I'm the government.
And the first distinct thing I remember was pulling my phone and saying, "I am the government."
He actually said, "I am the government."
Yeah, he says, "I am the government," and he was very assertive about it.
I'm the government.
This is Officer Nick Nimskern with the Montgomery, Ohio Police Department working the Cincinnati airport as part of a plainclothes DEA task force, stopping David, a New York-bound passenger, after he and his bag had already cleared TSA screening.
Jeez Louise, why are you so angry?
I'm not angry, I just want my rights to be respected, that's all.
Well, I just told you can walk on, but you can set your bag down. And we'll just have a dog.
Where else you're gonna... Am I being detained right now?
Not you, but your
Am
bag.
I free to go?
Not your bag. I
Okay,
told you like
I'm gonna
20
walk
times.
then.
You can't do that.
Am I being detained?
Robert,
But am I free to go?
Was your heart pounding? Were you nervous? Were you confident in your position?
Oh, I was unbelievably nervous. In fact, the first thing I did was on the plane was go back to my phone and just see, is this really happening? And did I remember this correctly?
You mentioned seeing a YouTube video. That was our investigation you saw, right?
Yeah, that was your investigation.
We tracked plainclothes drug agents through the Atlanta airport, watching and recording them searching passengers at boarding gates looking for cash to seize. In court filings, the government called these cold consent encounters.
How many innocent people do you have to search before you find what you're looking for?
Sir, I've got nothing to say to you.
Yeah, I distinctly remembered a couple of pieces that stood out. I think one of them was asking the question, "Am I free to go?" The second thing that I really remember was that I was free to walk away if so.
We do have a completely full flight this afternoon.
Once on board, David checked our story again on his phone.
I actually saw the Investigate TV news article pop up too. And I remember thinking, well, at least I did this right. You have the right to walk away if they're not detaining you.
Agent Nimskern followed him on the plane and mistakenly grabbed another passenger's bag.
Oh, that's my... Hey.
That's yours. Where's your bag at?
I don't consent to search, sir.
You don't have to consent. Where's your backpack at? Where is it? Under your seat?
It got put away, but I don't consent to being searched.
I don't care what your
this is...
consent stuff. You want to watch the dog?
Yes,
you want
please.
to sit in your seat?
I would like to watch the
Then
dog.
come out.
It was definitely embarrassing, humiliating. I'm sure everybody's wondering, is this guy a terrorist? Is he bringing bombs on board?
I'm not trying to be a jerk, I just don't like being searched.
You're not trying to be a jerk.
No, I don't
the
know who you
biggest
are.
jerk since I've ever met out here, honestly.
That's fair, dude.
The airport is not a constitution-free zone. You retain your Fourth Amendment rights when you're in the airport.
Kirby Thomas West is an attorney with the DC-based Institute for Justice, now representing David.
Any of us, and even a constitutional lawyer knowing all my rights, there's no guarantees that you're going to be safe from this kind of search or seizure.
One thing he said is, "I don't need your consent." Is that true?
The only way that law enforcement can conduct a search without your consent is if there is probable cause of a crime.
Am I under suspicion of a crime right now? Do you have probable cause?
So we have a lot of money and drugs going out of every airport
Understood.
to New York.
Okay.
It's an influx of it.
Am I being suspected of a crime? I just want this to be
I
recorded.
don't know.
Do you have reasonable suspicion Do you have probable cause? And he says, I don't know.
Do you have probable cause for a search?
I have probable cause for a dog to walk up and smell your bag, yes.
The canine at first walks right by David's bag without stopping. Then,
I saw him gesture back to my bag, and I remember him just doing something with his fingers. Upon looking at the video again, you can hear him making that kissy sound.
You see that? You got it recorded. Don't edit that part out of the video either. So he sat on your bag.
Okay.
Is there money, drugs, or weapons in your bag? You did all this for what? This is what we do. Let me tell you, we've been doing this for a long time. Years and years and years.
I understand
longer than
that.
you've been alive.
I respect you, sir.
We're within our rights, or I wouldn't do what I did.
Is my flight going to be...
Hey, that's your plane.
All right. I just did some research on this when I was on the plane, but...
Well, Google's great. I'm telling you, if I were you, I'd call your lawyer and see what he wants you to do. I know you're annoyed, and I'm annoyed too that you caused such a scene for something so silly.
I don't think standing up for your rights is silly.
You actually disobeyed me, disrespected me.
And also, it's weird that he puts this whole scene on me.
We wouldn't do this and be doing it across the country if it wasn't legal.
We wouldn't be doing this all over the country if it wasn't legal.
Well, first, this isn't legal, and second, that they do this all over the country, but it was extremely validating to hear it from the horse's mouth.
You walked off the plane. Fact check, bro.
Basically, do you want a receipt for the bag?
You want a receipt for the bag?
All right, you guys have consent to search it.
Before he searches my bag, the officer says, I'm sure that there's nothing in your bag anyways.
I'm sure there's nothing in here at this point.
At the end of the day, there was nothing illegal in your bag at all.
No, he searched my bag very thoroughly, and nothing was found.
This is just going to prove that your dog has been trained by you guys to signal whenever you need to signal.
Could be smelling something residual from something else. I don't know. I'm not a dog. Are you a dog?
Was there ever an apology? Did they say we're sorry? How did they end the encounter?
They laughed at me.
They laughed at you?
Yeah, they laughed at me. I asked him, so what do I do with my flight? And he said, that's your own problem now.
David caught the next flight. His video will be an exhibit in the Institute for Justice class action lawsuit filed against the DEA and the TSA. Neither the DEA nor the agent agreed to answer our questions.
I've been in a lineup, more than likely.
I think that's probably true. We probably both have had our photos pulled into photo arrays.
Coming up, when you stand in line to have your photo taken for a driver's license, you may be unwittingly signing up to join a database of images used for facial recognition scans. We explain coming up. Our in-depth coverage continues. You can get connected to Investigate TV Plus on all social media platforms. Going to the DMV, we all know we're going to get our picture taken, but did you know in some states the agency keeps your photo in a facial recognition database? Privacy advocates have long complained about the practice, which has become a routine part of law enforcement investigations across the country. And as reporter Sierra Cummings uncovered, the state of Georgia has been doing it for more than a decade.
The Department of Driver Services is a state agency. As a state lawmaker, did you know DDS was using facial recognition?
I did not.
Did you know the DDS was using facial recognition technology?
I actually wasn't aware of that.
Democrat State Representative Brian Prince and Republican State Representative Brad Thomas, both leaders on Georgia Legislature's Technology Committee, both just learning.
The state have to do a better job.
Now serving. The agency tasked with providing driver's licenses, state IDs, and now even voter IDs uses that picture database for a facial recognition system.
It's something that we need to look into. It's something we need to take very seriously.
When submitting an ID application to the Department of Driver Services, or DDS, the use of this tech is not disclosed except for the general acknowledgement you're required to check off. I grant permission to the DDS to verify info and release any info to third parties, which include public and private entities. The possible private entities? Documents show since 2008, DDS has held contracts with private facial recognition companies.
It's not like the DMV is doing anything illegal.
No, and I think that is the part that is interesting, right?
Ramnath Chalapa, an associate dean at Emory who studies artificial intelligence and its impact on privacy.
You don't know when they're using that data, how they're using that data, or in what form are they using this data.
The researcher raises concerns about the unintended consequences of how it's all done. In 2015, beloved father and husband Marquis Stevens was murdered.
I don't know how I lived that night through, but I miss my son a lot.
At the time, no one had the suspect's name, but they did have this Instagram picture. A witness gave it to Atlanta police, who then sent the image to DDS. DDS ran a facial rec search using the state database of driver's license photos. Records show it delivered these 25 possible matches. This man here at the top would later be convicted of Marquis's murder. But that means these 24 other men had nothing to do with the crime. They were innocent. It's why we're blurring their faces. Yet police were able to use any of these images to potentially build a suspect lineup.
I've been in a lineup, more than likely.
I think that's probably true. We probably both have had our photos pulled into photo arrays countless times.
Kay Levine, former prosecutor, Emory professor of law.
If anybody thinks that the only people who are concerned about privacy are those people who have criminal behavior to hide, who have heroin in the trunk of their car or machine guns in their garage, they are mistaken.
Beyond privacy, she argues this could pose a court challenge, not for driving because that's only a privilege under the law, but voting, that's a right. And now in Georgia, IDs are required to cast a ballot. When a resident has no other form of ID, they can get a free voter ID card from DDS. But we confirm that same voter ID image would also be subjected to the facial recognition system.
This could be possibly a new frontier for people who want to assert an impact on their ability to vote.
Uncharted territory, one lawmakers are ready to regulate.
I think the state has a role in it, especially because your agencies, if you're funding those agencies, what they can share and what they cannot.
I think anything less than absolute maximum transparency is, anything less than that would be unwise by us as policymakers to allow that to happen.
As for the facial recognition system, the DDS declined to interview, but told our team their trained investigative unit only uses it to help police in cases of specific violent crimes.
Like I said, it wasn't me, so none of this was me.
Up next, a woman discovers she owes hundreds of thousands of dollars for medical care, but she wasn't the patient. We explain how this can happen to anyone next. You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime streaming online. Get the app for Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. They're free to download. Thieves can use things like your name, Social Security, and Medicare numbers to submit medical claims to insurance. But after all the processing, you're the one who's still getting the bill. Susan Campbell shows us one woman's multi-$1,000 nightmare.
This is the real Jennifer O'Connor. There's a fake Jennifer out there too, and she's using the real Jennifer's identity to get medical care.
The bills are outrageous. I get a new bill every day and I just want to cry.
What's the total of these bills?
For just the surgery was $217,000.
Another $32,000 here, $9,300 there.
I'm getting bills from CT scans, bills from anesthesiologists, different doctors that she saw at the hospital. It's just overwhelming.
Jennifer says she's aware of 2 ambulance rides and 4 hospital visits at Banner and Honor Health facilities. The first sign of a problem was a bill from an anesthesiologist.
$2,400 for anesthesia, and I'm like, anesthesia? When did I go under anesthesia? And so I looked more into it and All I had to do to get into it was put in my date of birth, and bam, there's the bill.
The real Jennifer is a respiratory therapist at a Banner facility. Her supervisor submitted this letter to their own employer to prove the real Jennifer was on the clock when the fake Jennifer was getting medical care.
I just know that I was working my butt off, and I wasn't getting screws in my legs and on fentanyl, that's for sure.
Still, the paper trail and the police reports Jennifer filed weren't enough to unravel the mess.
I get 2 emails from Banner saying they're going to garnish my wages for the visit at Banner Boswell ER for $150 and a $36 bill from Banner Desert.
She says bills from Honor Health are still coming too.
They just sent it to collections.
If it sounds like a nightmare, it is. But Jennifer's not alone.
It is getting easier and easier to obtain the data of a legitimate person and then create the fake identity.
Eva Velasquez is the president and CEO of the Identity Theft Resource Center.
When it comes to medical identity theft, it does get really tricky because we don't have a central repository for all of our medical records. So I encourage people to focus their energy on just protecting their identity on the whole.
That means make sure you have unique passwords across all of your accounts. Enable multi-factor authentication to protect accounts from breaches, and protect physical documents that have personal information on them. That includes securing your mailbox. And if you are a victim of medical identity theft, keep meticulous records.
The unfortunate reality is that you must resolve this directly with the entity where the fraud occurred.
We know medical identity theft can be costly, but it also comes with serious health concerns.
You potentially now have mixed medical records with the thief, and you could get improper care, improper diagnosis. You could also not have the ability to get necessary prescriptions filled or to get access to necessary medical equipment because the thief has already gotten those things in your name.
That's what Jennifer fears the most.
All her medical stuff is on file, not mine. If I was in a car accident on the way home, God forbid, and I was out of it and needed blood products, I could die because she probably doesn't have the same blood type as me. And that terrifies me.
According to a recent report, in 2023, the Federal Trade Commission received more than 13,000 reports of identity theft related to medical services. The agency recommends doing the following if you think someone is using your medical information. Review your medical records and report any errors to your healthcare provider. Get your credit reports and let the 3 credit bureaus know of any discrepancies. Finally, create a personal recovery plan by going online to identitytheft.gov.
Somebody thinks they're actually dealing with an HR department, when in fact they're dealing with a professional identity criminal.
Coming up, trying to land a job is a nerve-wracking experience, something scammers often try to take advantage of. How to spot signs of an employment scam, coming up. You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime online. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel at Investigate TV. You can catch stories and full episodes. A consumer advocacy organization found job scams increased 118% from 2022 to 23. It also found fraudsters have changed how they approach job seekers. In this week's Watching Your Wallet, reporter Carice Jackman spoke with a woman who experienced this rising scheme and shares tips on how you can avoid falling into a similar trap.
They're very good. They gained my confidence in a lot of ways.
Amisha, who didn't want to share her last name for fear the scammers will come after her and for her privacy, still can't believe the lengths fraudsters went through to obtain her information.
They were very good at making me feel comfortable and preying on the fact that I was new to the job market.
Last year, while looking for a job on LinkedIn, Amisha applied for a remote position for a company she thought was in Oklahoma. The day she applied, she got an email from a woman who told her they were interested and sent over a questionnaire. After submitting the questionnaire, Amisha was offered a job and was told they would be sending her a laptop to work from home.
She let me know that they would be supplying it, didn't have anything to worry about, but because we were in such a hurry to get started, it would be more efficient if I wired the money to a vendor near me to get the work laptop. I didn't know much about work laptops, so I didn't really mind wiring the money because they gave me a check.
The fake job sent her a check. She deposited the money in her bank, and once the money in her account increased, she wired the money over to the vendor, but was told the vendor was sold out. They said they would do the process over again with a new vendor, but this time the check was put on hold with the bank, so the fake job asked Amisha to pay for the laptop herself.
And then when I finally got to check with my bank, not only had the check not cleared, thousands of my own money were gone from my account.
Amisha just experienced what's known as an employment scam. Amisha isn't alone. According to the Identity Theft Resource Center's most recent report, job scams are climbing. James Lee, Chief Operating Officer with the ITRC, says they've also seen people go through an application process, only to find out it was fake.
Somebody thinks they're actually dealing with an HR department, when in fact they're dealing with a professional identity criminal.
To avoid these scams, Melanie McGovern with the Better Business Bureau says if you're not going through rounds of interviews, beware.
There will be phone calls, there will be interviews in person. If it's just, hey, download this texting app and then we'll talk to you that way, or on a free texting website, that's a big red flag.
Also, if you get an email or text like this one offering you a job, report the scam to the BBB or the FTC and don't reply. Amisha no longer feels ashamed. Now she's empowered to warn others about bad actors looking to take advantage of people just looking for employment.
Another tip, look up the job on the company's actual website. Give them a call and say, I was recruited to work for your company, and ask if they actually have the position open. If they say no, then you'll know that it was likely a scam. To keep up with our latest investigations, follow us on social media. We're at InvestigateTV on Facebook, Instagram, and X. And that's it for us. Thanks for joining us here on InvestigateTV Plus Weekend. Next time on InvestigateTV Plus Weekend.
I just broke down crying. I really let my family down.
Artificial patriots, fake generals, and real victims. How to spot fakes on social media that have cost some people their life savings.
If it can sense a pattern of behavior from an officer, whether he's talking down to the public or anything like that, it can be addressed a lot quicker.
Plus, police videotape most interactions with the public, but those recordings largely go unwatched. Now, new tech aims to change that.